Hi, this is TransLiterary Lab number 11, 文学翻訳ラボ第11番, and I'm JD Wisgo from self.japanese.com. For those of you who are new to this series, TransLiterary Lab is about taking a short Japanese passage, typically fiction, and I will perform a translation to English, and in the process I'll be doing any research I need to understand the passage and kind of think about how to translate it properly. I won't be aiming for a proper, I say a finished goal, because that'll take many iterations. I'll just do typically 2 or 3 iterations to just get it to a certain point. It's kind of like a rough draft, maybe a little bit polished. But the point is really here to talk about the process of translation and to just have it as an exercise for just everyone to think about different options for translation. Okay, so today I would like to use Ningen You from Edogawa Rampo, who's a pretty famous author. He has a lot of stuff translated in English, I think. I don't know if this story is or not. It doesn't really matter because I'm just going to be doing a paragraph or so. Hajimaru zo. Alright, so as usual, I'll be taking this from Aozura Bunko. And what I've done is I've taken the first paragraph. It's a few sentences, mostly, I guess, one or two, pretty much one short sentence and one pretty long sentence. And I've taken this and I brought it to my notepad here. But what I'm going to do is I'll read it first here because it's a little easier. All right. Ningen You, Edogawa Rampo, Nekozoku no shita. So, all right. Now, I'm not sure about the reading of this name. I'll just make my best guess about this. We could look it up later if we want. 神谷法はまだ大学を出たばかりの会社員であった。しかも父親が重役を務めている商事会社の調査会員で、これという決まった仕事もないのんきな身の上であったから、飲み覚えた酒のみ、その酒を運んでくれる美しい人の魅力が忘れがたくて、つい足げくその家へ、京橋に近いとある裏通りのアフロティテというカフェへ通い続けたのも決して無理ではなかった。Alright, so had a few stumbles there, but I just wanted to kind of get through the basic feel of this. Some of the readings I wasn't sure about, but we'll talk about those along the way. So now we switch to this, and I'll separate into sentences, but as I said, it's pretty much one short sentence and one long sentence. So we'll do with this, we'll start with this sentence first. But even before that, let's just do the title. So Ningen is obviously human, and Hyo is leopard, and this is, of course, this is not a normal word. And let's see if there's any other, just to double check. Yeah, this is leopard or black panther, I guess. So we'll just say human leopard for now. One thing about the title is, you can definitely make it very non-literal, and usually it's not until you read the whole story and maybe even until you translate it that you can decide the best title. So that's really, it could be one of the last things. I've changed titles, near the end of a translation project because I, decided I want a certain feel. But okay, all right, good. So this is an M. Yeah, I guess that's right. Okay, so now the subtitle, this, or I guess maybe it's a chapter title, is Nekozoku no shita. So zoku is sort of like a tribe or something, probably a cat tribe. Let's see if there's any other nuance that I'm missing out here. Genius, I haven't heard that usage too much, but in belonging to something. But basically, cat tribe is probably the best translation I can give just for now. We can see if there's any set words for that, any set phrases. I don't think so, yeah. So it's basically a tribe or a group. Here you can see nakama, so it's like a group of people. And then this is, I guess, some of the genius, a category. So there's a few meanings, but they're kind of related. So what I'll just do for now is, and of course shita means tongue in this case. So I'll just say the tongue of the cat tribe. And again, until I read through this, especially these are the titles and the chapter titles and the main title are going to be really hard to get a good translation of. So we'll just make a rough draft of that. All right, so back to this, and we talked about the reading. I'm not 100% sure, but from this, there's Kamiya, and this one wasn't even in a, and I could look up online. I mean, I guess it is relatively important. We do want to get the right reading for the name. And we could listen to if there's any audio narrations available just to double check the right name. But here we see someone with the same kanji, and it's looks like it's, let's see, Inoue, which is the first part, and then Yoshio, and it's the same kanji. So I think Yoshio is probably going to be the right reading. And I think I read it as whole or something when I read it the first time. But we'll go with Yoshio. Okay, so Yoshio, okay, and then Kamiya. All right, まだ大学を出たばかりの会社員であった. Okay, so this rest of the sentence is pretty straightforward. 大学 is obviously college. 出る is a verb with a lot of meanings, but in this case it means when you leave something, like 部屋を出る to leave a room. Here it's they left college, which typically means they graduated. So bakari in this case is just, especially when it's after a past tense verb, it means something that just happened. And kaishain, of course, is someone who works at a company, right? An employee of a company. So you can just say here, and mada, of course, is not yet, right? Or it basically it just happened. It's kind of emphasizing the bakari. All right. So we'll say Yoshio Kamiya was a company employee, sort of literal, who just got out of college. Right? Pretty literal, which is fine. So now we have this second sentence, which is pretty long. And what I might do, and this will be a good exercise for how to translate and think about translating longer sentences. What I'm going to do is probably break this up into pieces. And I don't necessarily do it this way when I'm actually translating, but I want to do this as an exercise, and we'll see how it pans out. And we can kind of combine these elements together. Okay, so we'll just try this as an experiment. So shikamo, of course, has the nuance of in addition, or it's kind of like on top of that, it's adding to it, maybe furthermore, or let's see, moreover, stuff like that. All right, I'll actually use moreover because I think I like that. So keep in mind, we're going to be doing phrase by phrase. So it may not be that natural. We're going to have to kind of shift it up, shift it around at the end, rearrange things. Okay, moreover, chichihoya's father, it's obviously his father, even though it doesn't say kare no chichihoya. It's pretty implied, pretty clearly implied it's his father. Furthermore, his father, all right, stomeru is to work. Juyaku is officer. To me, it's somebody in like the high levels, and not necessarily a CEO, but executive, which fits. His father was an executive at, I think I pronounced this as Shoji Gaisha. I'm not sure about the reading. Okay, it looks like I had it right. Shoji Gaisha, at a business commercial company, at a, I'm not sure if commercial company is really the best phrase. I might have to do some research on this, but we'll just go with this for now. At a commercial company. Now here it's, let's see what this is here. Chosa is like a study, like a research, examination, inquiry, and this is chosa-in. Actually, sorry, chosa-ka, which is actually like a part of a company. And I forget the best mapping. Section is one way to map it. There's probably other ways to translate it, but so it's like a department. That's kind of the way I think of it. So, and the in here is basically talking about a person. So it's basically saying he was a person who worked in this department of this company, and he worked as a executive, right? Father was an executive at a commercial company. Let's see, working in a investigative department. Yeah, let's see, what's a better department? Chosa. Let's see if there's actually officially an department for this. I don't see. Let's do a quick Google search for this one. Chosa-ka. Okay, and see if we get any common renderings of this. Research division, investigation department. That sounds kind of nice. Investigation. Yeah, we'll just go with research division. I actually like that. That sounds good. And again, we can come back and do a little more about research division. At a commercial working in. Actually, let's try this. Executive at a commercial company. Let's try executive in the research division of a commercial company. Excuse me. Okay, so now we're going to go to the second part. right? これという決まった仕事もない. So これという means it's sort of an expression that is like specific, right? It's this. Literally, is you say this, but it kind of means a specific. I don't know if that's actually going to be in the dictionary. Particular. Okay, that's pretty close to specific. Particular. So kimatta is basically something that's decided on, like a kind of like a, how would I say, a procedure, like something that's official, right? So shigoto mo nai. So he didn't really have any any particular official duties or work, right? Nonki, if I remember, is like free going, easygoing. Let's see what the rendering. Now this rendering is not in the dictionary, or this kanji. So easygoing, carefree. Okay, happy-go-lucky. Okay, not mino-ue. So mino-ue, if I remember correctly, is sort of like describing his background or his circumstances, past life. Okay, this is all kind of related to the background, personal affairs. So let's see, and this is also kind of a nice separate phrase, so we can translate it separate. And of course, this deatta basically means datta. It's just sort of a more formal way of saying datta, and kara is, of course, because, right? And because he, let's see, circumstances, history. All right, there's probably a nice word we can use for Mimei, but for now I'm just going to keep it simple. And because he happened, and the happened isn't really directly, literally in the sentence anymore. I'm just going to kind of throw this in because it feels good at this point. And because he happened to be a carefree man, I'm pretty sure he's a guy just from his name, but we could always find that if we happen to be wrong. A carefree man without any particular duties. Okay, sorry for now. So now this here, and this is just sort of like a noun phrase here. So we have nomi oboeta, which I think is he drank it and he kind of remembered that. I don't think there's going to be it's not in the dictionary. So it's a compound verb. This is flavor, and I think I might have read this. I think I might have pronounced this wrong when I was reading the narration. I think I said mi. It should be aji. But it's actually, could be either way, but aji is probably a more typical reading. All right, so the flavor of, I'll just say sake, which is what this is, sake. Flavor of sake he had become familiar with, okay? And again, this is not going to match up perfectly. We'll shift it around later. Okay, and then sono sake o hakonde kuru. This is carry, literally. I assume carry to the table. Utsukushi hito, so beautiful person. It's probably a waitress. No midyoku is their attraction, or what should you say? Attractiveness. There's probably a better word for that. Charm, fascination, appeal, attraction. Okay. Ga wasure gatakute. So wasureru is of course to forget, and then if you have something with gatai at the end, it means it's difficult, similar to nikui, right? So. And let's just say, and not being able to forget the attraction, appeal, let's just say charm of the beautiful, just say attractive, the charm of the attractive, now I'm not sure if this is a single woman, or I mean it could even be a guy, but assuming it's a woman, or if it's multiple of the attractive. I'm just going to assume for now it's one person, but we can come back to this and tweak that later. For an attractive person who served, I'll just say served because it's pretty clearly, as you'll see, we're going to talk about a cafe in just a moment, so pretty sure it's serving, who served that alcohol, or that sake. Okay, so sui is kind of like you do something without necessarily intending to. It just kind of happens, kind of like an impulse. There is other meanings, but this is the one I'm talking about here. By chance, by accident, unintentionally, in spite, by mistake, carelessly. So it has a lot of different nuance. It could be just accidental. It could be have a negative nuance. Now this, I'm not sure if I read correctly. I think I said ashige. And I'm not seeing this. Let's look this up here. I want to make sure I get the reading right, just for the reference. So, ashishigeku. All right, I might have not read that quite properly, but it was probably close. Ashishigeku, right? And this says towa, which is basically defining it. Onaji tokoro ni tabi tabi iku yosu. All right, so that's basically someone who, how would I say? There's a word in Japanese, joren kyaku, which is like a, can't think of the English word, but it's a regular customer. Yeah, joren kyaku, regular customer. So somebody who frequently goes to a certain place. So, where is this? Ashishigeku. So it's actually being used as an adverb here, which I haven't seen before, but that's okay. And where were we? Ashishige. Okay, so what is here? Frequent visits. So here it's just frequent, which is fine. Okay. If we go back to here, and again, there's too many ands here, but I'm just going to put this in for now. And now here, of course, there's not even a verb. So we'll just say to frequently ended up going to the. Now, ie is typically house, although I found in older Japanese it can also mean like a store or maybe even like a bar or something. You'll see here house, home, and then I don't know if it was here family, house, home, and there's somewhere I remember researching this for a previous project. It was also like here place, so it can have a really generic, right? And I'll just say there for now. Okay, almost done. We got 3 more subphrases here. All right, kyobashi. That sounds like a place. Let's see, is it in the dictionary? Kyobashi. Okay, let's see. Kyoto to Chuoku Tobu. Okay, so it's a place. So we'll just render it as is. So this is to aru, which is a certain. Nichikai is close to. Pretty straightforward grammar. Uradori, which is like a back street, right? So we'll just say back street. Now the word place is actually not here. I'll just say in parentheses black street, right? To a certain back street place near Kyobashi. Okay, and then I don't know if I pronounced this right before, but it's Aphrodite. Aphrodite. I guess it's Aphrodite. Not sure. Aphrodite. Aphrodite. Okay, maybe I misread it. Aphrodite. Aphrodite. Okay. So it's Aphrodite, and this is not the spelling I'm used to. Let's see what the best keep getting this pop up for APHRODI. Just want to get roughly the right spelling. Okay, this looks like it's the right spelling. So let's see. A cafe, right? Toyu cafe. So the cafe basically, which has the name, right? Kaioi tsuzuketa nomo. So it's describing this whole phrase here, but the phrase is kaio is to go to. Basically, how should I say? Frequent or to go to a place. And tsuzuketa is continued, so past tense of that. So he continued going to some place or visiting a certain place, right? And continuing. I may cut this out later, but continue to visit a cafe named Aphrodite. Aphrodite. Aphrodite, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Excuse me there. All right, and then here, keshite, which is like not at all, like kind of like a zen type thing. Muri de wa nakatta. So muri typically means something's like impossible, like a dekinai, or it's either physically possible or it's not. It's just not going to happen for whatever reason. But I think there's a second or third definition: unreasonable, impossible, compulsion, excess. So to me, reading this and seeing this unreasonable part, I'm getting the feeling that it's like it's not unusual or it's not strange, or maybe it was only natural, right? It was only natural for him. It was only natural to him. There's a lot of other ways I could render that. But what I want to do is basically try to put this all together, right? And I think most of these phrases I'm pretty comfortable with. There's a few different ways to do it, but what I want to do is I'm going to just kind of cut and paste this, and this is probably the first time I'm doing this way, so to see if it works out. But what I want to do is kind of take out all the Japanese text and see if we can kind of glue these pieces together. I mean, normally I would just kind of think about this for a while and start writing it out, but hopefully this will be helpful. Okay, so starting at the beginning, Yoshio Kamiya was a company employee who just got out of college. All right, so that was separate. There's not much issue with that. We're trying to glue together the rest of these phrases of the second sentence. Moreover, his father was an executive in the research division of a commercial company. That's good. And because he happened to be a carefree man without particular duties. Okay, so, and what I should also do is, let me just take this and put it here, so I can actually refer to this. I'm just going to get rid of this other sentence because it's not a big concern now. So, and we have the because. Okay, we have the flavor. So this is where we're going to have to move this around, right? So what I'm going to do here is put this first. So, and not being able to forget the charm of attractive person to serve the sake. And we'll take out the comma for now. And the flavor of the sake. And now we have that sake, right? So the problem here is this sake is referring to the sake because I switched the order. So what we can do of this is, let's put this first. Not being able to forget the flavor of the sake being familiar with, and the charm of, and we'll change this to the attractive person who served that sake. Okay, this is getting glued together. So here we go back and look at this. Okay, sui ashi shigeku sono ie e. Okay, so, and thus frequently ended up going there. Now this going part, keep in mind if we go back up here, is not, where was that part? Yeah, so this going, there's actually not a verb here, so I should have probably put this in parentheses. Just the frequent part is there, right? So I think after this we're going to have to switch around the order of these, right? And thus it was only natural for him to continue to frequent. Now the word frequent kind of means visit, but since we already had this idea of ashi shigeku frequently, I think this combines those things nicely. And thus it was only natural for him to continue, actually do frequenting, I like the flow better, continue frequenting, okay, a certain place. Now if you remember before, there was this ie, where was it? Right here, sono ie. So basically we have this kind of repeated. We have sono ie e, and then we have a description of it again, cafe e. So to me, they're really the same place, right? So this is almost like something I can put inside M dashes. Let me try that. So ended up going there, right? A certain back street, right, near Kobashi. All right. Continuing to visit. Okay. Oh, I forgot the name. A certain back street. Let's see, a back street near Kobashi. So if I go back to this, oh, okay. So it's on. All right. So what I have to do is show that this cafe is on the street. Okay. Let's try this then. A cafe named Aphrodite on a certain back street near Kobashi. All right, or Kyobashi. And we already put this natural stuff in earlier, the natural hymn. Okay, good. So starting to get cleaner and making more sense, at least, in terms of the flow. So now that we did that, I might as well put this back. Okay, so let's read this again. Moreover, his father was an executive in the research division of a commercial company, and because he happened to be a carefree man without particular duties, let's make this any particular duty, without any particular duty, although either way would work, and not being able to forget the flavor. I'm trying to think if there's a better expression, and finding it hard to. Let's try that. Because not being able is definitely not the same thing. This is like wasure rarenai, which is a close idea, but it's not literally the same. And finding it, let's try this. Put a comma here. And finding it hard to forget the flavor of sake. He had, it's getting a little wordy here. let's say familiar, okay? Flavor of familiar sake. Accustomed sake he was accustomed to. Yeah, this familiar sounds a little weird, but it's much more terse, much more shorter than what we had before. And the charm of the attractive person who served that sake. So now I'm coming back to this. I'm debating whether it should be an or the. And the charm of, go back to an, it makes more sense. An attractive person who served that sake. And since I put a comma here, I think I can actually get rid of this here. Right, we'll just combine this so you can see. Right, it was only natural for him to continue frequenting a certain place. And I think I didn't combine this correctly, so let me see here. I gotta combine this, a certain place. Oh yeah, this is what happened. I forgot to close this off. Okay, certain place, a cafe named Aphrodite on a certain back street near Kyobashi. All right, it's starting to look pretty good. Now we got a bunch of commas here, but I mean the sentence is kind of wordy to begin with, and like I'd rather not break it up. As a general rule, I try to retain sentence boundaries. I know some people they try to stay within the paragraph, and that's okay. Just say, I don't know if this is chapter 1 or whatever. We'll just leave it there. Okay, I'll just make this capital though, just in case. Okay, so I think we're about ready to do another read through before we finish. Okay, Human Leopard by Edogawa Rampo. The Tongue of the Cat Tribe. Yoshio Kamiya was a company employee who just got out of college. Moreover, his father was an executive in the research division of a commercial company, and because he happened to be a carefree man without any particular duty, and finding it hard to forget the flavor of a familiar sake and the charm of an attractive person who served that sake, it was only natural for him to continue frequenting a certain place, a cafe named Aphrodite on a certain back street near Kyobashi. So I notice I have the certain, I think the certain here shouldn't be here twice. This looks wrong. Certain place. Let me double check though. Sweet. Yeah. So we don't need this. Frequenting a place. Now we could, the reason I hesitate to put a certain here is, well, besides the fact it's not indirectly in the original text, we have a certain here right after that. So I don't want to say a certain twice. And now, again, I'm jumping back and forth, but looking at this again, I think I like plurals better, without any particular duties. And finding it hard to forget the flavor of familiar sake. Now, I'm still not sure about this A here. Flavor of a familiar sake. I could say type of sake. Yeah, we'll leave it for now. And the charm of an attractive person. So I kind of like this parallel structure here. Flavor of a familiar sake and the charm of an attractive person who served that sake. That feels okay. It was only natural for him to continue frequenting a place, a cafe named Aphrodite on a certain back street near Kyobashi. So this still feels a little awkward here. What I could do is actually change this out. Right. Now, again, it's literally different than the text a little bit, but because of the word order is different, and because we want to avoid saying a certain twice, I think this actually sounds better. So let's read this last sentence one more time. Moreover, his father was an executive in the research division of a commercial company, and because he happened to be a carefree man without any particular duties, and finding it hard to forget the flavor of a familiar sake and the charm of an attractive person who served that sake, it was only natural for him to continue frequenting a certain place, a cafe named Aphrodite, on a back street near Kyobashi. Okay, that sounds pretty good. I think I mispronounced sake as saki, which is okay because a lot of people do that all the time. But yeah, it should be sake. So that's pretty good. I don't know if we would want commas here, or not commas, double quotes. Yeah, I guess that would be probably more appropriate. But okay, I think we're about out of time, but that was a pretty good run. We got this tricky sentence done. And I would, suggest for you for exercise to maybe find, another sentence. I'm sure you could find some in this piece, like for even the next here. It looks like it's not quite as long, but I'm guessing this style. This is a pretty long piece, but you can find some other sentences anywhere on, Aosoro Bunko, or even in a book for that matter, and just experiment with translating longer sentences. I don't necessarily recommend doing this process every time, but for the first few times you translate a long sentence, I think it's a good exercise to kind of just get yourself into it. Once you do it enough times, you'll start reordering the sentences around in your head, and then you'll be able to just kind of like spit out in order and save some of the steps here. But I think this was a good exercise. All right, and just to finish, I wanted to mention a book that I released last year. There's actually two books, volume 1 and 2 of classic Japanese fairy tales, which is a series of fairy tales of relatively easy difficulty level, and it's listed in parallel Japanese English in case you want to practice reading some literary Japanese and then looking at the English. It's a good way to kind of practice your reading. You can find a link to the book, actually both books, in the video description below. Thank you for watching.